Wellness TV with Dr. Lee. Join your host, the accomplished Dr. Cherilyn Lee, as she welcomes the leading experts in health and well-being as they explore the advancements in natural health, physical fitness, nutrition, integrative medicine, and self-discovery.
Good day, everyone. I want to thank everyone again for tuning in to another wonderful show here. And, as I always say, each show is to edify you. That's my purpose for being here. And I'm so thrilled and so happy to touch on a subject that's dear to my heart, very dear to my heart, and also dear to my guest as well. And I'm happy to say that they also have a show here at UBN. She and her husband, Marla.
Indeed, the Marla and Dave show.
Yes, and thank you so much, Marla, for being here.
You're very welcome. You know what? It's not even, no thanks needed. At this point, this conversation is long overdue. This conversation is extremely necessary.
Yes, it is.
We have reached critical mass when it comes to
the
mental health meltdown is what I'm calling it.
Yes.
From the top, which would be, let's just call it the Trump effect, all the way down to the bottom. And, ironically, as history would continue to prove, that it's only when certain people are affected, and it's not necessarily always just about race, but
no,
affluence, visibility, with the recent losses of Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain, within 4 days of each other, both committing suicide.
Yes.
Because both had a long-standing bout with their mental illnesses until it ultimately claimed their lives.
Exactly.
Now we want to talk.
Yeah,
so let's talk about it.
And that's what we're going to do today.
Let's do it.
Definitely going to talk about. I've had different psychologists on the show, and we have gone into different things. But I'm telling you, when it hits at home as well too.
And that's the thing that I've been screaming, Dr. Lee, for a very long time with the challenges with my two older children, for assistance, for help, for acknowledgement, acknowledgement not from public, but from the mental health community in the way of resources to help to be able to solve the problem.
Oh yes,
and we are a mentally imbalanced child goes in and shoots up a school and kills the school, and we are only focused on gun control. It's like we're afraid to even say mentally ill.
Exactly.
We won't even say it. It's like even David and I have had to come up with words like, for example, we call it brain difference and brain balance. There are those of us who are brain balanced, and there's those of us who are brain different. And if it's a personality disorder, I now call it emotionally handicapped.
Yeah, I like that because I actually titled the show Mental Wellness and Mental Illness.
Right.
Yeah, because we have to get everything back in check and back in balance. And what's really happening to get to that's why in holistic medicine we look at the whole person.
Right.
And so many things are mislabeled, and we know that what's going on with the drugs on the street. In the New England Journal of Medicine report, which just put out from the emergency medicine section, that they have more young people coming into the ER with psychiatric disorders now that marijuana is so popular now.
Correct.
And CBD. So we know there's something going on with that as well.
Right.
And more and more younger and younger kids, but then it's leading to all kind of personality disorders, behavior.
Right.
It doesn't matter if your socioeconomical background is hitting everyone.
Right. Well, that I'm glad you mentioned that as well, because it's also, the those of us who have understood inherently through history that are at a socioeconomic disadvantage are also hit harder than others. And, that's also a problem.
Yes.
So, for me, I want to say that, there's a disadvantaged community that also needs a voice, and I'm here to be the voice.
Oh, yes.
Because I live with it in my family.
Oh, yes.
And I'm not afraid of, the criticism or the public scrutiny at all. I feel like bring it on, because to me, nothing changes and no one gets enlightened without information.
Exactly.
Period.
And Good morning. Good
Good morning.
morning.
Good morning. I apologize
Dave
for my
Thomas.
tardiness. It's
Well, nobody would have known you were tardy. They just would have known you weren't on camera yet.
well, I
Well,
just
that's
want to
okay.
be transparent.
But thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for showing up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, both
So
of you.
so we were I wanted to get into, you mentioned, holistic treatment, and you mentioned that at the top of your show. Talk to me about the two different processes in beginning to supplement or to help brain difference.
Well, what I like to do is first find out what is the cause.
Can you actually definitively identify the
Well,
cause?
we can find out. Just take, for instance, serotonin.
Right.
90% of serotonin is produced in the intestines.
Got it.
Okay, and if you've been placed on a psychotropic medication, which is going to destroy that, that's your feel-good
Right.
hormone.
Right,
But
correct.
if you're going to start destroying this, what's going to happen? Then there's other side effects to the medication, and you keep going on instead of finding out maybe what is going on. What is the chemical imbalance?
Right.
What is the chemical imbalance?
What's that process of finding that out?
Neurotransmitter testing. I do neurotransmitter testing. A lot of people in that field will do that. You look at now what's going on with the Roundup in our food. What's actually causing it? The parathyroid gland. Now, I had a patient who years ago I worked, and I almost forgot about this. I was talking to Jarvis on the way here at a residential chemical program. And this person was started off like people we know, and just got declined to, it was horrible. And actually he was unkept, threatening people, just really bad. In the center, I did his physical examination, but I really did not want to go near him because he would cough on you, spit on you, all kind of stuff. And so someone came in that day and said, this gentleman would work with the post office. He is an amazing human being. What happened to him? And I'm thinking, well, drugs. But I tested him. He had no drugs in the system. But he present like a person on drugs.
Right.
So I went ahead and quickly going through this because I know you're short on time too. But did a neurological examination on him. There's some things you could do as a neurological test, which we're going to get to
Right.
with your family. But and found out that he had some neurological deficits. So I then, because I'm in a residential program helping everyone, sent him to the hospital with a note with all of my findings to the ER. They sent him back to me and said he only has bronchitis. Well, you totally missed what I sent to you.
Right.
So it took a 6-month period. And I told one of the doctors, because I trained it over at King, I said, look, I will come in on my day off and work him up because he needs a CT scan because I'm sure he has intracranial pressure on his brain. And come to find out, that's what it was. Now
He had a brain tumor.
Had a brain tumor. Now, all these other things were happening. Now, I did some lab work on someone here recently to find out they have a low calcium level. Now, low calcium level can cause hallucinations and cause a lot of other things too. So I like to look at everything. Instead of trying to cover it up with a medication, then you're going to have other major problems. There was already a problem with drugs. Maybe it's a heavy metal problem in the body.
Right.
Let's get rid of that. But I also see a lot from young kids in college because they have to have the meningitis vaccination, the hepatitis vaccinations, and I have seen a lot of this happen to them having psychological problems later.
Okay, so do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. The first question, actually, for me, you said something about low calcium can also cause hallucinations. I guess you're referring to both
Blood work.
auditory and visual hallucinations.
Right now, I looked at the research on hallucinations. I'll check into the whole paradigm of that. But
the reason why I asked that is because it seems like also in the African American community, there's a low tolerance for drinking actual cow's milk. And so if that's where you're getting the majority of your calcium, do you think that's what accounts for sort of the higher rate of mental health conditions in African Americans? Or
No. Well, we look at the overall. It is a very good question. Thank you. Thank you, Jarvis. That's okay. You're part of this family. And so I would look into everything. The vitamin D and vitamin K is going to help facilitate the calcium into the body. So do we need to take a lot of calcium? I don't see that picture. This is why I do what is called, there's layers to this whole healing. There's micro and macro nutrition testing that I do as well. So is he facilitating? is there a genetic block in getting to the nutrition and to the cell tissue where it need to be? So there's a lot to genomics, what's happening with the body, with like I said, getting into the cell tissue and what's going on. So was something kind of destroyed because he had these vaccinations, also coupled with dealing with different drugs as well? I think it's a combination of it all. This is why it's taking people longer to heal. But I've seen in the last, I would say, 20 years, at least 15 cases of young men with IQs, and it was only the ones with IQs that were high that was totally affected. One was in school, he spoke 4 languages, he was actually going to had been offered scholarships for 4 or 5 colleges, universities, and couldn't accept any of them. After the series of injections, it was so bad he even got to the place he stabbed his mother. It was, I mean, that was kind of a long time coming. But all of this happened. And, you know, other hospitals I won't mention, they went ahead, they had taken him there. They said, well, we look for mercury, and how are you testing certain things in the body when you give all these shots? What are the toxins or attached to it? There is other bacteria and microscopic organism. We know there's a gut-brain relationship. We know it's gut-brain health.
You know what? I have a question. My question is, I have now encountered in close proximity of my social circle with friends and acquaintances, as well as just, you know, distant examples in life of those who are suffering. And there's something very unique.
Okay.
They all seem to have almost the same script that they talk about. They talk about, you know, tons and tons of money being withheld. They talk about the same spiritual connections. They talk about, literally, it's like if you sit and talk with them, it's a script. They talk about working for the government and being under some highly secretive order, so to say, you know, of this, you know, to be able to do experiments. You know, I know for our son that we hear all of this, but when I begin to talk to others who are schizoaffective disordered or in episodic mode of schizophrenia, they all have the exact same thing.
There is a lot happening. So there is actually a lot. I've worked in the community. I worked for the federal prison, which was a whole different area, but working in chemical dependency.
Do you know why, though, that's in common? They have that in common?
Well, there's a lot of things happen in certain cities, and it's very common because of, one, the cell phone towers. And these cell phone towers are near a water creek, so you're going to have a lot of problems. You have a lot of lead in water. What is lead doing to our children's brain? So they talked about what was going over in Flint, but this is happening in Watts and Compton and other places where the water's rusty.
Yeah, but I think what Marla's referring to, though, is we get that the environment that the environment causes problems, but can you speak directly to, when you speak to these people with these problems, the same issue that the same thought processes are going on in their mind?
Their hallucinations
It's always
are
something
identical.
about God or Jesus giving them special powers or endowing them with a message that nobody else has. It's always the government. They're always under surveillance.
Yeah. Well, I hear that from everyone that I've spoke to as well. It's it's common. But what area of the brain are these chemicals affecting? What is put in the air? We know about the chemtrails, you have the environmental, but they tend to affect different people differently. But yes, it is basically the same. They do have a lot of the same symptoms, and I've seen it across the board because I've been around chemical dependency for years and talking to them and taking their history. So they all basically kind of have the same thing. Going on a more conspiracy theory.
Right.
Yeah, there is.
Right.
There is.
Are you saying that you agree with them in the conspiracy theories, or are you saying that you understand the similarities
I understand the similarity
in their understanding?
And this conspiracy theory, because I've seen a lot.
So if somebody asks you point blank, period, Dr. Lee, I've got a loved one who's affected. Should I traditional pharmaceutical medication to help with this problem, or holistic approach.
And is there a difference between holistic and homeopathic?
Homeopathic. Which of those two? In other words, are you anti meds, or do you find the meds actually have a place in assisting? And you can
You
speak.
guys want to put me on the spot? No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I mean, we're desperate, so all we have is the spot.
This is what I feel. Personally, I have a loved one
Right.
that has gone through this. Would I want to see her on medication? No. Am I for medication? Why am I going to medicate her? And then she's going to have a series of other medical problems and side effects to that medication. In the medication, if you look in the PDR, even the ones that have problems with insomnia and all these other things happen because you have to sleep, because that will really drive you to a whole another level.
For sure.
You
I don't
have to
care who
sleep.
you are. Correct.
Yeah, so that's going to be a problem. But what does the medication say? We did a study for 14 months, 6 months? So if you're on it for a year, do you become part of the second part of the study?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So check the PDR on all the medication. I tell the people, look at the PDR. Look at the side effects. But the whole thing is, would I do it personally for my children? No.
Right. Okay. Well, here's my other question. What's safe? Because you just mentioned, and I know that it's been my experience. You told you actually equated, or you regurgitated a story to us about, or an experience that someone had, and ultimately he was unwound, and over time, through a series of a length of time of deterioration, he stabbed his mom. Right.
Right.
So, is there a safe environment, or even an option, to just let them live in altered states and just monitor that with food
with your own safety at risk?
No. That's why everything has to be looked at.
So the alternative is the street.
No, not the street.
Okay.
No, it's to really unveil what is happening. After we found out what's going on with a lot of people, including one of my own family members,
right,
we were able to identify some of that, and they're better. I just don't put myself in the middle of the treatment.
Because I want to keep it all the way clear, because even with the things I understand, when you say that they're better, I want to be sure that I let America know that this struggle, which we talked about in the beginning, Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain, it's a constant up and down. And so I know, at least in certain personality disorders, that there is no cure. You don't cure it. You manage it.
You manage it.
You manage mental health.
And they're able to function and have a good quality of life. My concern is you're able to function and have a good quality of life. We all have been through some kind of trauma here and there through our lifetime, but how do we manage that trauma, and how do we manage what's going on the rest of our life? It's important, and what's important, not to be medicated and walking around as a zombie, which they did to a family member of mine, and put her on lithium, not a homeopathic, and left her as a zombie. So she was able to, I worked with her, because over a period of time, that threw her into all kind of other problems
Health
as
problems,
well.
right.
Yeah, including Parkinson's, so that she don't have anymore. So the thing is finding out the underlying cause, and a lot of that was related to blood sugar. So when there's abnormal blood work, because it deals with every chemistry, every cell tissue in your body, and how the body is going to function, you got to find out what's going on there too. Certain things mimic.
Have you seen a complete and steady recovery for somebody who has an actual illness diagnosis? Because again, personality disorders are technically not considered
exactly
mental illness.
Yeah.
Like, in other words,
they don't have a code, so they could do billing.
Right. So like we can just, we know that Donald Trump is imbalanced, but we'll just call it assholery on some level and just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying?
He suffers from AH.
He suffers from assholery. Yes, exactly.
AHD.
Yes, there's no pill for that.
Is there a diagnostic code for that too?
No.
A new code.
And that's assholery.
To the DSM, add that there. With AHD. Got that.
So,
Perfect.
but for those who have bipolar 1, those who have chemical, quantifiable, identifiable chemical challenge and change in their brain.
Yes.
Have you ever been able to treat that with, do you have one account of somebody who's been treated holistically that maintains?
And he's maintaining, he's doing well. Actually, I'm going to end up bringing him on the show as he's pretty high profile.
Okay.
Bringing him on the show as well, and he started out that way. I've been knowing him for greater than 20 years, and he was on a lot of medications that cause a lot of havoc in his body and weight gain and up to almost 300 plus pounds and diabetes and everything else. So the medications have been tapered. The person even went as far as had to go on dialysis
Right.
from all of this. Now they're to the point now they're going to even decrease his dose, his treatments of dialysis. So they started off with all the medications and the hallucinations and this and that. So we went through a series of different things, and he's doing a lot better. He's manageable. He has a life, and that's what's important, to have a life.
Right. Well, which is the whole point. Are you living beyond suffering?
Yeah.
And that's,
And to
that's
have the quality, like I said, this is your quality of life. You have no quality if you on medication and walking around as a zombie. Nobody has a quality of life like that. Or you're doing or saying threatful things to your
Right.
family. There is no quality of life. And plus, it's no quality to the family. The family can't have a bond and a union when all these things are happening. So when do you get to a point where you can help a person? But it's an overall. And it takes a little time.
And
because it
we
takes time.
We can attest to that. And I know that before I have to get out of here, I broadcast on my own, and again, this is also being recorded live
Yes.
on my Facebook, because I think that it's really important as well for me to continue to outline and share the depth of this journey. Is so painful. As a matter of fact, I would say that it's more painful for those of us who aren't detached from a particular reality than it is for those who are. In other words, I don't have any place to escape to.
Mhm.
This one nut here, this one reality is my whole reality.
Yes.
And, even today, I have to make a very tough decision. And I said even before, we've been on this journey, and there have been promises, and, we have been open to and continue to stay open to any possibility to help to just obliterate DJ's suffering.
Right.
And at this point, it has been yet to no avail. So as we find ourselves back again, today I made the decision to actually leave the house. So I said that I would do that before. And, I made sure that DJ understands that, I'm not leaving because I don't love you. I'm leaving because I do love you. Because he feels like we're a threat in this space.
Yes.
And whether it be true in my reality or not, it's true in his reality.
And I understand.
And that means that we become front row center at this moment to any type of aggression or retaliation of that truth for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I can't withstand that force. And so I feel like that if I can, for the first time in my life, remove myself, my struggles, and I say this openly because I want everybody to understand this. My personal struggle is my own fear of abandonment, because it matters. It's been my whole fight.
Yeah.
So to get to this point, to have to choose between him or me, seriously, and it's impossible for somebody to truly know till they've been through it.
I know.
You cannot know until you sit in it and you go through it, and you spend every day trying your best to figure out the next best move for him. And even though he's grown, I know that he's got challenges that don't allow him to be able to clearly make these decisions. So,
And when I say I know, I had an incident with my own daughter.
right.
And you didn't know this part, but she wanted to go on and on talking about a situation that she caused. And it was very painful because I just couldn't deal with it anymore that day. But I didn't put her out because she had just moved out of her own place. So I didn't put her out. So the problem is that I had went into my room. I said, I'm going to lock my door and just take a nice hot bath and try to unwind from this whole day that's been really stressful. Blood pressure was back up again to 200. I've been in 2 comas from stress and dealing with so much stuff. This is why I work very closely with the parents as
Right.
well, because I know what happened to me with the coma. I was under extreme amount of stress in 92. But so she decided to go get a knife and unlock my bedroom door, unlock my bathroom door, and stand over me with a knife and tell me, I'm not finished talking to you. So when I tell you I know, I know.
Yeah.
And that was very uncomfortable. So I changed the locks. I
Right.
said, I'm not going to go through
We've
this.
already been there.
Yeah, but, you know, then
Right.
she didn't come back. She moved on.
Right.
Then we try to patch things up and work with her. But, you know, as a parent, it's hard to do it yourself as a parent and try to get help. It was just very difficult. But through the grace of God, and we have to really kind of let go sometime and say, you know what, I'm doing all I can. I'm going to put you in God's hands.
Well, you know,
But still,
I was
there's still
speaking to
more.
a friend today, and the truest statement ever made is, even though I am willing to completely sacrifice myself, even to fatality, it still wouldn't save him.
Yeah.
And that's the part, no matter what. If I, you know, breathe my last breath, he's still saddled with the same suffering and the same, you know, consequences. And, you know, I do have to say, by choice, I have to take that with a grain of salt, because how capable is he at this point to make choices that are going to truly benefit him in the world that he lives in, which is a auditory hallucination.
Exactly.
And so, you know, and I know he's also not equipped for, and, you know, not supposed to be on the street, but those are the choices that he's making. But, you know, at this point, he feels like that he has paid for everything, and we're all living on him, and, you know, he's done all this work, and, you know, yet he doesn't have any money, and, you know, right, and we're living high on the hog, which is completely not true, which is, but we can't even show him reality. Like if I said, DJ,
No, you can't.
look at my bank account, it doesn't matter, then you're just hiding money everywhere, you're doing something else.
No,
He
it's
accused my nonprofit today of being something that I'm building on his back. He's now been privy to the truth of all these deceptions that aren't even
But
real.
a lot of paranoia is there. I have a very close friend of mine, her son went through an awful lot. She's going to probably be coming on. I could have had her on today. But anyway, a lot of problems with her son. Same situation, but a little bit more in depth. But he had to end up being incarcerated because he kept doing things on the street before he got hurt, or even got hurt while he was incarcerated. So if someone shared with her about this place, I think I told you about it.
In Mexico.
In Mexico. And I actually went over there last month.
And what's the name of it?
You know, I don't remember the name,
But you
but
can get
I'll
it to
get the
me.
name. And actually, I'll bring her on the show as well. Maybe you might want to have her on yours.
Okay.
So I like what they're doing, and they're using, he gets an injection, but it's something natural, once a week, you know, and I was going to talk to, you know, I'm just meeting you and your wonderful family. And I said, we start off, and let me just get all the lab and get everything and see what's kind of going on here too. But we're going to have to do this a little aggressively. But I do like this place. They have services there. It's a non-denominational situation, but they do have psychiatrists, psychologists. I don't go along with psychiatrists because they want to give medication. Psychologists, at least they're going to sit down and talk to you. Now, I have a couple things in mind because I met another young lady who's a psychologist who actually does a lot of work in that area as well and have helped turn around a lot of people. So when I say turn around, they're not having the auditory hallucinations. It's a process, you know, that she does. So,
Right.
yeah. So, you know, we start off, you know, we just met. We just met a few days ago. And I feel in my own spirit, you know, God has him here for a reason. The same thing I told him that day. And you're on this journey for whatever reason. It's not a comfortable journey for you. It is definitely not one comfortable for your family. But I do feel you coming out as a whole person on the end. I really do. I do feel that. It might not be, and I'm almost sure it's not going to be 100% my work.
Right.
I'm going to call in We're going to call in all the people that's needed to get him to where he need to be. This is one reason why I do the network that I do, and I know the outcome of some of the patients they have worked with also. So it's a combination of people. It's not just one person. It would never be just me. Never. But we do want to look at the gut brain, see what's going on there. Like I said, the vaccinations, because I've seen even worse than your son. And this, just a lot of really bad situations. Is it targeted? Is it something in the DNA of our African-American male? And I have not seen that one female, personally. I haven't seen that one female, personally, but I've seen a lot of African-American male, and they all had high IQs. So,
well, that's the one thing that I think that we could agree on. I'm not going to be able to stay. David is sitting here, it's just it's a plight that you hear the statistics.
They're high, yes.
And you hear how this type of illness affects the family and tears families apart.
Yes.
And you vow that it won't be you. Mm-hmm. But at this point, it is. Because for me, we have different processes. We have the same heart. We have the same love. We have the same dedication, vow, and commitment to our family. But because of what our family is, I can't. My gut at this point is saying, get to higher ground.
Yes.
Hurry up,
yes.
Because he's going to be gone in a week. And no matter what it is that, the one thing I know about this situation is that we can't. I think that the one damnation of it all is that it's the unpredictability of the psyche, that there's no way now I can say, if I knew that it was just verbal ranting,
mm-hmm.
but there's no way in my right mind
you don't.
When I hear him saying how, well, now, think about it, is everybody's going to die. It's nothing I can do about it. And those things are being said out loud.
Yeah.
And now you're detached from the fact that we're your parents, and you're saying you're just, Marla and Dave. And so, the promise was that DJ was going to be able to go into a treatment center, and we ended up, by somebody else's hand and accepting and going on Dr. Phil, and they exploited his story and didn't pay for the treatment. So literally. So they didn't get.
So sorry to hear
so he was supposed to be in a treatment facility, and 8 days into his release from jail, and them saying they would take him back, they said he said something sexually inappropriate to another person, which I'm sure is probably true, because it's part of their condition, their lack of impulse control.
Yeah.
And but there was nothing physical, and they said, "Oh, we can't afford the liability," and literally kicked him out, and with 4 days worth of meds left. So he's been with us by default since then.
Yeah.
And that was not the plan.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it can be temporary. It's the place in Mexico. Like I said, I've been there. My friend would never have her son there. She didn't feel comfortable about it. Someone else told her about it, and their son stayed there. He stayed there a while. When I say a while, he was there. The other person was a couple years.
Right.
When he came out. You see, they don't have those problems. My understanding over there, they don't have people just loitering on the street. You don't see people with psychotic disorders just loitering around the street. They get them help.
Yeah, I would like to actually like to get that information.
And then I'll go with you. I'll have my friend. We'll all go together.
Because now it finally this morning came down to him or me.
Yeah.
And I said I would never again put him out onto the street knowing his condition, and I'm better suited to be homeless at this point than he is. So I'm going to just
but at least
stay with friends.
Yeah, I like this place because they've been helped, and they don't. And I like I said, I've seen a lot in the 35 plus years of being in practice. But going there, this is why the mothers kept saying, "You have to come go with us. Come go with us." So I finally did.
Right. And do you know where in Mexico?
Tijuana.
Okay.
Just Tijuana.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, they were doing the driving, so we'll get it set up, and I'll actually have you meet her. Her son is doing a lot better. He is doing so much better.
Okay.
He's ready to come. He kept thinking he was leaving with us that day, and he wasn't. They had a hard time getting there, so they didn't tell him, that's where I'm going to take you. they just kind of said, we're going for a nice, and they went at night. So we're going for a nice long ride, and
Right.
they left early evening. But anyway, he's there, and he's cooperative, and it's just amazing how it has really helped him. And I like what they're using as far as, and to recall exactly what it was, but it was something natural, and it is an injection. It wasn't that much money. I think they do it every week or once a month, but it's like $80.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't
That's
even that
doable.
expensive, especially for what he was getting and where he's come from. He's come a long way.
Right.
Come a long way.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm sorry that my time is short. I'm
wait.
under the demand of many
I understand.
and no time for myself. So now what I'm going to do is again, sorry that I'm dressed down, but
No.
my people here on my feeds, they all know. So it's time for me to go and beat the people up, because that's what I do.
Okay.
I don't mean with my fist.
I know.
I mean beat them up and make them stronger.
Yes.
So thank you so much for having me. And let's,
the one thing too, and I know they can't hardly see our hands, but
yeah, they can.
God knows your heart. And the most important with our children is they know we love them.
Right.
They know that. And when they know that in their heart and they feel it, love conquers all. And I know you're going through a lot, and really I feel this place within my heart. We did not meet by accident.
Right.
Even though we met from a very dear friend, I think God put us together.
Right.
And this is going to be a powerful journey.
Well, I definitely,
really
I
do.
definitely feel that, and I
Yes.
want to include you as well on, my foundation, which is just burgeoning, is called Loving Beyond Reason,
Yes.
and it literally is for that. That is what it is about. It's about families and who have made the decision to love beyond what others think is even reasonable
Right.
when our children and the people we love are suffering. It doesn't even have to be your child, but understanding now the complications and the extreme speed bumps. They're not even speed bumps, they're mountains
Yes.
to get mental health help. If I can raise money and awareness and help families like mine who've decided to actually love their family through the long haul, that's my only goal. Point blank, period. And I'm just, unfortunately for me, I'm one person, so I can't get as much done in the time I want to get it done as I would like. But I've made myself a promise to not be hard on myself and to just keep taking one step forward.
Don't be hard on
And I'm
yourself.
just going to keep going. I can't. What I'm not going to do is turn back, and I'm not going to set the bag down. So
Right.
that's what I'm doing. All right, guys.
So Marla, I want to thank you again. I know you kept saying what you did, and I thank you for opening up and being an authentic person. And I just want to say, in case my daughter or family members are watching, because this is one particular daughter who fell. She said, "I know you love me, but you don't like me."
Right.
So as she is listening today, I love you with all my heart. I always have.
Right. And that is the truth, and that's
It
why
is the
we're here,
truth.
and that's why we sit on this panel, and that's why
Yeah.
we stay on our knees, and
Yes, we do.
that's why
and
to
we
me,
do all we can. We
my-
do all we can.
our tears. My tears are the tears of actually at this point of just long suffering.
Yes.
So I'm going to leave you in the
understand.
hands of Dave. He's so talkative. Why don't you just shut up, Dave?
I know. We were together Monday, a couple days ago. But it was great. It was great. Yeah.
I knew Marla's time was short, so I didn't want to take up her speaking time. But I'm here. I'm here for the duration of the show.
Okay. Well, I didn't have a chance to ask her because I know we had so much we wanted to say, and I know why you started what you did, but you have a TV show. Can you kind of elaborate on that a little bit? And your nonprofit?
Well, the nonprofit, the Loving Beyond Reason,
she did
Marla
state that,
started
yes.
that because of the issues that we're dealing with in our own family.
Yes, yes.
And also what we realized is the struggles that families have to go through when they deal with issues like this, because for some reason the healthcare system in our country
Oh, yeah.
is basically run by the health insurance companies on one hand and the big pharma on the other hand.
Oh, yes, I know.
And it doesn't really seem like any of their motivation on either side of that is about the health and well-being of not just the patient, but their families as well. And so since it's only about money, and because of the different administrations and the way that they choose to deal with the healthcare situation, the wrong people are falling through the cracks, and that's the patients and the people that actually need the help,
Right.
the people that are suffering in their families. And so what we wanted to do is try to build up a situation where if we have a foundation or an organization that can help bridge the gap financially as when people are trying to get the help that they need, because a lot of times, especially here in California, places like California and Florida specifically, that are considered year-round warm weather places,
Yes.
It is very difficult for them to deal with the mental health issue, because most of the time you hear people talking about thoughts of suicide, homelessness, and drug addiction problems. Those usually come from a mental health issue. And because of that, there's so many here because of the warm weather. It's just too much of a financial burden, so they say, on the health insurance system. So they don't cover it at all.
So they say.
So they say, and they don't cover it at all. And so what ends up happening is the frustrating thing for all of us is that we constantly pay into the health insurance system thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then when it comes time for you to need to actually pull out of that for the help that you need, it's unavailable.
Right.
And matter of fact, we had changed insurance companies. Marla had a dental situation that she went to go get
Dental.
for.
That's a whole nother
And
bag.
next thing you know, she said, I said, I paid the extra money for the dental coverage. They said, no. When you pay that, it doesn't kick in until a year. So I said, you mean to tell me
A year.
I got to pay all year before you even actually just give me anything back?
Oh, no.
And the amount that I'm paying doesn't even come to the cost of the amount that they're asking me for. So by the time they give me any money back for the issue, I have paid 12 times the amount of what the actual cost will be.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's insane. And so the Trump administration specifically is so hell-bent to undo the good that the Obama administration tried to do, that once again, that fight leaves the people in need carrying all the burden.
Yes, it is. And it's an epidemic.
To that end,
it's a pandemic. I mean, it's just
exactly.
Yeah.
And so the government is so wasteful, and they take so much from all of us as citizens in taxes, that there are programs that are available, but because of the bureaucracy, you just got money sitting around that they need to give away, that you have to actually jump through so many red tape and hoops to actually get to the money.
Exactly.
So we wanted to have an organization, getting back to Love and Beyond Reason, that actually had access to the money, had access to people who can write the grants, had access to a way to actually get help to the people that actually need it.
Yes. And I'm so happy that you have, and you're sincere. There's so many organizations that are not in our community. That how does it help us?
Exactly.
How does it really help the person of every day who really need it? We're not getting it, and so I see it all the time.
And so after
it's managed care. When they came out with that word managed care, I told people, you better start managing your own care.
Yeah.
You cannot let someone else manage your care.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to manage your own, and not just manage. You have to know what's going on. Ask questions. Don't take something somebody have given you. Ask questions about it. I've had a couple of my patients of mine thrown out of their doctor's office for asking questions. Just asking questions.
Yeah, and again, I'm of the mindset usually that a doctor, a nurse, any healthcare professional is a human being just like me.
Yeah.
They got their information the same way I get my information. You read, you study, and they're fallible just like I'm fallible. So not everybody is on the same level, even though they have the same acronym behind their name.
Yeah.
So, and to that end, it's a scary position, and I think this is what Marla was touching on, when you have, say, you, Dr. Lee, saying one thing, the medical field, basically they treat a symptom, and we know that's how Western medicine works.
I know.
They treat a symptom, and they don't actually treat the cause. And so what ends up happening is the side effect of this medication for this symptom causes another situation. By the time you're done with, you're pretty much a bag of poison. But at the same time, you have, and you were saying that you had incidents where someone was completely brought back. You even said from Parkinson. And so
it was my sister-in-law.
And so why would the medical field in general not really want to take a decent look at this is statistics that they can draw on with experience and someone who's taking their work seriously, and say that we can heal these things versus them saying we definitely can't cure Parkinson. Now that's what the medical field says.
I know.
You're not going to cure it. You can manage it for a while till you die.
No, my sister-in-law was actually cured. She had it so bad that she couldn't even feed herself. But it was induced by medication. And with just 3 treatments, and it was right before holiday, she was able to go prepare the whole meal, serve everyone with no tremors at all.
Yeah,
And actually the thing is, it's been research. It's out there. I didn't come up with this. I just followed it because I knew it would work, and I saw the patients that had been treated, and it's so simple. It was so simple, and it's not that expensive.
Well, I mean, my thing is, like Marla said earlier, we are willing to try just about anything to help our son. Marla and I are 2 different people. She will come to a point where, and I don't blame her for it, because we can only do what we can do.
Exactly.
And everybody's capacity is a little different. She doesn't know that I changed my plans. I'm not actually going to leave next week. I'll stick around for about another week and a half just to see if we can stabilize D.
Yeah.
Before there are some things that I actually have to do and leave town. But
I would suggest, let's kind of, really pray over it. I want you this week, hopefully within the next 24, 48 hours, to meet my friend whose son is over in Tijuana.
Okay.
And she'll tell you the journey. Oh my goodness, it was just horrible. But where he is now is so much better. So each day he's getting better. He's not back 100%, no.
Yeah.
But at least we know he's not going to be injured on the street, because they don't let you wander around. And he's not being abused there. He's not incarcerated. And so, but I see him getting better. And that's what we want.
That's exactly what we want. Yeah.
So, like I said, I would take off and go with you over there, and let's get this going.
Okay. No, we definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. Like I said, we met for a reason.
Yeah. No, we did. We did. We had a. I thought we had a good visit at your office the other day, and I guess Marla shared with you, we had a little episode this morning.
Yeah, she told me.
But as God would have it, I prayed about it. Sure enough, he walked back in, and he's sitting right outside now. So we'll spend the day together and try to get things back under control.
Yes. And through with love and prayer, that's, just holding them and letting them know I love you. And, it really does a lot. And prayer always works. We know that.
Indeed.
We know
for sure.
prayer works. I mean, it brought my daughter out of a situation just by staying there with her. And I wasn't going to let go. And actually within 12 hours, I went in that night with her, and we came out the next day. Well, she still kind of thinks, you always want to throw that in about me. I said, but that was powerful. That was power showing how God can turn anything around. And when they're in the midst of things, they only see it their way. They don't see it your way. It's just their way. And so I hope she is watching the show today and know that I love you and I'm always here for you. Always.
Indeed. Well, and anytime we appreciate you having us on the show. As you guys know, we have our own show, the Marla and Dave Show. Ours comes on Monday evenings at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
We deal with this issue among many other issues.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And this is something that, as we see more and more, is touching more visibly more members of society.
Yes.
And especially because the politics of this day and age are becoming so much more stressful. I think that stress is just fracturing a lot of people. It is,
and it's on every level of medicine. But in mental, I don't remember what happened, but something did happen. You had to meet with former Congresswoman Diane Watson, who was a very dear friend of mine too, and I'd like for you guys to meet her as well. But
sure.
Something happened during that time, and next time maybe we'll do this again. I'll have her here as well.
And my cousin is Sheila Jackson Lee. So
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
so
Somebody asked me were we related. So, yeah, Cousin Lee.
you do have a similar appearance. That's a good one.
Yeah. But we know, we do know that I really feel within my heart, and anyone watching the show, they know me, and people who know me. But there is a reason, as we know, for this. I'm sorry that you are going through this, but I know there is a journey, there's a plan, and God's hand is on this, and it's going to turn around. And just like I said Monday, and I still feel that in my own spirit.
Okay.
I still feel that way.
Thank you so much.
I thank you. I thank you, and I love you. Love your family. I mean, I'm just meeting everyone. Love you. We share a lot as it relates to our children and them knowing that, again, the love is so powerful. And for you guys to be so authentic, and coming forward, because a lot of people have these problems and they don't come through and just share what's really going on. It's just too much kind of, covered
Yeah,
up.
well, I mean, what we found, and that is my wife's actual nature. My nature, I'm a little bit more, I'm more introverted than she is, so I deal with a lot, but I actually just would prefer to actually get down and do the work.
Yeah.
But it takes all kinds, because if it wasn't for the fact that we were able to speak out about it, we wouldn't get the help that we're getting now.
Yeah.
So
And it's going to be even more.
yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, I'll put you in contact with some other people, and let's get things really moving a lot faster. We have
Thank
to.
you.
We have
Thank
to.
you.
Like I said, we met for a reason.
Indeed.
And people who come in my path, and it's yours as well, and with your organization, I really feel it's such a blessing and going to bless and help so many people. And anything I can do to be a part of it, I
Indeed.
would love to, be there for you.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So I just want to say that I want to thank everyone for tuning in and knowing that mental health is real. It's getting worse. It affects just about everybody in someone's family. Just about everyone in someone's family. From depression, it could be, you can want to call it postpartum after pregnancy. Sometimes that even leads to other serious things. So we look at the whole paradigm of what's happening in mental illness. And a lot of people don't like the fact that, I don't need to go see a psychiatrist. There's nothing wrong with me. Just like you go see a healthcare practitioner for other health issues, mental health is real. So let's take care of it. If you want to talk to someone, always remember to try to talk to psychologists, because they're not going to medicate you. They're going to try to get more to the root cause and try to help you with it. Psychologists is different from psychiatrists, who will first want to put you on medication. So I want to thank you again for tuning in. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. You can always watch the show if you miss it on our YouTube channel, New Wellness TV with Dr. Lee. Please share this show with your friends, because this is affecting everyone. God bless you. Have a wonderful, blessed day. And as I always say at the end of my show, what do I say? You guys know. Repeat after me.
Okay.
I am
So grateful
that I am a magnet
for
miracles. Have a wonderful, blessed day.
Thank you.
Join us every Wednesday live at 11 a.m. for New Wellness TV with Dr. Lee. Remember, healthy mind, healthy body.